Welcome to the Health Channel, all health, all the time. I'm Dr. Derek Papp, an orthopedic and sports medicine physician with the Miami and Orthopedic Sports Medicine Institute. Today, I'm joined by Jerome Turner, owner of the People's Gym. Welcome.
Oh, thank you, sir.
I think this is going to be a great show. You know, I've been going over everything, and I know you're on here previously. Yes. Before we get into everything, let's talk about you. Like, where do you come from? What's your background, and what do you do?
My name is Jerome Turner. I come from Cleveland, Ohio. I was born in the early 80s. And, you know, I grew up a regular kid, watching cartoons, Saturday morning cartoons, eating Coral cereal. Yeah, that guy right there. That was me. That was a 5-year-old picture. I grew up watching cartoons Saturday morning, you know, eating cold cereal. Captain Crunch is my favorite, by the way. Just playing sports, just into comedy shows and doing similar things that most children do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now that's great. And so you played sports. So what kind of sports did you play?
Football and basketball were my two choices early.
Okay.
Football came first. Football was my first choice, my first passion. And I was surprised that my mother let me play tackle football.
Okay.
We would play in the street. We would play at the park. As you know, years went on, playing elementary, we started really getting a hunger for it, and we started trying out for the local park, and we started playing tackle football at the age of 10. That was the first time.
Okay. All right, that's great. And you went on and you wound up playing in college, right?
I played in college. I played college football. I played high school basketball. I played both. I was a collegiate scholarship for both sports.
That's great.
Basketball and football.
Okay.
I was a wide receiver.
Okay.
Yes.
And what were some of your favorite moments from playing football?
Oh, man, favorite moments, man. Just being bold enough to step on that field, not being able to hear the fans as much as you think. You know, people that don't play, they probably think the fans are distracting, but you're so far away from the fans, and you're so focused on what's going on, the nerves, the emotions, that you're not concerned about it. Favorite moment, catching touchdowns. I had a play in high school where it was muddy outside, raining. Of course, Cleveland, Ohio, it was raining. Bobbled the ball, I dropped it, but it bounced off somebody's helmet. And I caught it, and we kept going and scored a touchdown. So it was just some like little bloopers that I had playing. It was very fun. I enjoyed it.
No, I think that's great. You know, baseball is my sport, so it's there's a moment in a movie, For Love of the Game, with Kevin Costner, where he just can tune out the crowd, and that's having that focus.
That's a gift.
You know,
baseball. Let's talk about that. I tried to play baseball when I was 10.
Okay.
Right. I went to the park and I caught a grounder. I was supposed to catch a grounder.
Sure.
But I didn't squeeze the ball in time. So it bounced off my glove, hit me directly in the forehead, never played again.
That was it.
That was it.
Baseballs are hard.
Baseballs are hard. That's a very tough sport. I respect that sport.
Good. And yet you're a boxer too.
I'm a boxer. When I was in college, at the age of 23, when I was in college, I was playing football. Because of my height, I was 6'7", 230 pounds. So the coach didn't believe that I was that height. So when I got to the school, he saw my height. He wanted to switch me to defense. But I played offense my whole life. So all of a sudden, I'm playing defense. I gave it a shot. I gave it a try. Me and the coach got into it, arguing, going back and forth. Bottom line, he was one of those coaches that said, his way or the highway.
Sure.
So it was kind of like he chose the path for me. But I thank him because when I was kicked off that team in college, I began to box.
Okay.
And while I began to box, I learned how to fight. And about that same year, the football team, they went 0-9.
Yeah.
They won no games. They lost all 9 games. And me as a fighter, I went 9-0.
Yeah.
So I became a champion that same year, 2-time champion, Golden Glove and state champion. And those guys were undefeated. I mean, they never won a game. So I thank that coach for, you know, helping me make that decision, because 13 years later, everything turned into what it is now.
Sure.
I was able to evolve and grow as a man, and I learned from those choices that was made.
Well, today we wanted to talk about weight loss, and
Yes.
I guess there's a transition there. I think, you know, tell me a little bit about how you had put on some weight as a fighter or a wrestler, and then you had to take it off. Right?
Okay, and that picture they're showing you right there, that transition, that was me in like 2014. I put the weight on, right? I didn't lose track of life. I always let people know I didn't lose track of life. I had stopped boxing in 2014. I started wrestling, training for the WWE. And I had a coach that was working with me. One of the WWE scouts came to one of our practices. They liked what they saw in me, my potential, and they offered me a tryout. It was 6 to 8 months away. I forgot the exact time. But in that 6 to 8 months, they asked me to put on 60 to 80 pounds. At that time, I was weighing 240.
Okay.
So during my tryout, I got up to 310. But when I put the weight on, I didn't put it on the right way. It didn't look really bad, but when I took my shirt off, I didn't like the way my stomach looked. I was used to being flat and having broad shoulders. So during that tryout, I performed, I did my best, I made the roster. So that's a good thing.
Yeah.
I still pursue. But in the midst of me getting that, trimming down from 300 to 265 is when I began to read about physiology and study health and study nutrition and get into it. I knew at 300 pounds, 6'7", jogging down the street wouldn't be good for my knees in the long run.
Okay.
So I said, let me learn how to get this weight off of me. Then I just got gravitated towards different books and things like that.
Yeah, I think that's great. I just want to remind the viewers, if you have a question for Jerome or myself, you can call in using the toll-free number 855-796-4475. So Jerome, when did you become a trainer? Was that after this or during this?
It was almost like, I like to use years. I'm pretty good with memory. I say around 2013, I knew when my boxing career was over, I was going to get into training. You know, I had the 3 sports under my belt. I had basketball, football, boxing. But I knew as I aged that I was going to stay in sports. And so I started training people casually. Just if someone came into the gym and they was just a casual goer in the gym, they just wanted to learn a few moves and just put the gloves on maybe for the first time in their life. I would work with them, show them the basics, the 1-2, stuff like that. So it started growing inside of me, like towards the end of my career.
Okay.
I started really training people like around 2015. It started picking up and it started growing.
And what kind of people did you train? Like what level of athlete?
Oh man, I train everyday people. I train professional athletes, whether it's NBA, whether it's NFL. I haven't did baseball yet, but I've trained those sports. I've trained, as you can see in that picture, from the left to the right is Chris Bosh, LeBron, me, and Dwayne Wade. I trained all 3 of them.
Who was the better?
Probably Bosh.
Yeah.
With the most technique, but they were all respectful. It was a shocking moment. The story behind that, if I may.
Yeah.
The story was it was a rainy day. I was off. I used to work at the Fontainebleau Hotel in Miami Beach, so I was off from work that day, and I was laying down, and I was like, you know, I'm gonna sleep in today. I was only supposed to go to the gym, but something made me get up. I went to the gym, and I asked my coach. I said, "Coach, where's my jump rope?" And my coach says, "LeBron has your jump rope." But I'm not thinking he mean LeBron James. I had a friend in high school named LeBron.
Yeah.
So I knew he wasn't talking about him either. So I used someone else's jump rope. It was too short for me. So next thing you know, LeBron and Dwayne Wade walks in the gym playing around because it was pouring outside.
Yeah.
So they was jumping on each other's back like brothers. And Bosh, you know, he followed in like 2 minutes later. So LeBron had my jump rope, and I'm like, wow, what an odd way to meet. But that's how I introduced to that guy. So my coach, he was supposed to teach that class, but he asked me to do it.
That's great. So how do you go from that to owning your own gym now, right? You own the People's Gym.
Well, it's not a physical gym, it's mobile.
Okay.
I have a few friends that own gyms, and I never wanted to really babysit a building, so I never wanted to open a physical gym. So my gym consists of, what I do is mobile. I go to people's homes.
Okay.
I teach people about nutrition.
Sure.
I work with people through boxing. I have a weight bench where I show people how to lift weights.
Yeah.
I typically work with moms, stay-at-home moms that are, you know, trying to lose the fat after having children.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I think that's great. You know, one of the things that I know that you're passionate about is bullying. So do you use that as an avenue to teach about bullying?
Yes, I do. I'm passionate about bullying because I was bullied when I was a child, but it was brief.
Sure.
Just verbal. Maybe a few shoves here and there, but no one ever really put their hands on me. I was never a bully. But I don't like to see people picked on. I don't like to see people bullied. So I began to work with children, and that's one of the that was the last show I came on the show. On this show, we spoke about child bullying. And one of the major issues in bullying is the children are committing suicide. And off of cyberbullying, So that's a new form of bullying.
Yeah.
You know, us being from the 80s, bullying was more physical. It was more of a touch thing. Now it's more of a post on the internet, and you can be psychological. You can embarrass, and I understand it, but the result of these children just taking their lives and killing themselves is horrendous. So I want to provide a solution. It's not the end all be all, but my solution is to, if children are tougher, if children know how to deal with the pressure, and if we can bust that bubble that most parents create, then I don't think children would run to that result, which is suicide.
No, I think that's great. You know, we're going to transition a little bit here. In the next segment, we're going to talk a little bit about the importance of weight loss, the importance of eating the right foods, and how to actually balance that and have a nice balanced life in terms of diet and exercise. You're watching the Health Channel, all health, all the time on South Florida PBS. If you have a question for Jerome or myself, please call in using the toll-free number 855-796-4475. And